We have this myth that the only way to learn something is to read it in a textbook or hear a lecture on it. And the only way to show that we've understood something is to take a short answer test or maybe occasionally with an essay question thrown in. But that's nonsense. Everything can be taught in more than one way. Howard Gardner, 1997. Howard Gardner was born July 11, 1943 in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He is an American developmental psychologist and the John H. and Elizabeth A. Hobbs Professor of Cognition and Education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education at Harvard University. The author of 30 books translated into 32 languages and several hundred articles, Howard Gardner is best known in educational circles for his theory of multiple intelligence. The theory of multiple intelligences was developed in 1983 by Dr. Howard Gardner, professor of education at Harvard University. It suggests that the traditional notion of intelligence based on IQ testing is far too limited. Instead, Dr. Gardner proposes 8 different intelligences to account for a broader range of human potential in children and adults. These are the 8 multiple intelligences: linguistic verbal, logical mathematical, spatial visual, bodily kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalist. Linguistic verbal are people who are typically good at reading, writing, telling stories, and memorizing words along with dates. The type of jobs that these people are more prone to get are being writers or being journalists in that line of work. The logical mathematical are people who are good at scientific investigations and identifying relationships between different things. They are also good at understanding complex and abstract ideas. These are people that could be scientists, mathematicians, just name a few. Spatial visual are people that are good at remembering images, faces, and fine details. Some of the attributes are, capacity to perceive and manipulate the visual spatial world, as in navigators and artists. Bodily kinesthetic are people who have a strong intelligence of controlling their bodily motions and the capacity to handle objects skillfully. They are generally good at physical activities. Some occupations of the bodily kinesthetic could be athletes and dancers, the ability to control one's body movements and handle objects. Those are the attributes. Musical, people with a high musical intelligence normally are able to sing, play musical instruments, and compose music. So they are like composers, musicians, ability to produce and understand rhythm, pitch, and music. Interpersonal are people who have the ability to understand and interact effectively with others. It involves effective verbal and nonverbal communication. Interpersonal people are basically like managers, counselors. They can understand moods and temperament and motivations of others. Intrapersonal are people with self-awareness who are aware of their emotions, motivations, beliefs, and goals. Any person with accurate self-knowledge. Ability to assess one's own feeling and utilize them to guide behaviors. Knowledge of own strengths and weaknesses. That is intrapersonal. And finally, the naturalist. People that have a sensitivity to and appreciation for nature. They are gifted at nurturing and growing things as well as the ability to care for and interact with animals. Their jobs usually are park rangers, anything that has to do with nature or with animals. Professor Howard Gardner, Theories of Intelligence, informs us that there are more than one way to teach children. So to be a more effective teacher, we must find the avenue that our students are on. And that way they will be able to pick up what we're trying to teach them. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And to read more, please go to howardgardner.com. Thank you.